So this is supposed to be a Q&A session that you guys can interview me. So probably the best format to do is to just go around the room and let you guys ask questions as you see fit. I don't have anything specifically to tell you that I haven't already talked about. If there's anything you want me to specifically talk about, like you don't have a question about, but you'd just like me to go into detail about something, anything about the game, I can talk to any single piece of the game that you want me to talk about. I know everything. So, is that a good format for you guys? No, you're all tired. I stayed up too late. What time did everybody go? What time did you go to bed last night?
12:30.
That's not bad.
Well, it's okay. Yeah.
Everybody who asked a question has to tell me what time I went to bed last night. What was the last thing you had to drink last night?
A Coke.
A Coke. I had a Shark. It was this crazy vodka drink that had this kind of orange juicy stuff in it and grenadine. It's pretty good. At a bar at the Louvre. Pretty awesome. So, go ahead.
Okay.
What's your name?
Marco.
Mark.
What was your first step by creating the game?
Repeat that.
What was the first step by creating the game?
Like, what was the first step? What was the first thing that we did, and the first thing that we went through
to develop Warhammer Online? Yeah.
So, beyond acquiring the license, is the game actually on and making noises behind me? Beyond acquiring the license, the first thing that we do when we make any game is go into what we call pre-production. So, this is a period of study and planning more than anything else. So the very first thing that we do is we start to identify the people that we want to have on the team, and we try to identify with those people what we want to do with the game. So it's 3 to 6 months of intensive study and research for who we want, what we want to do, what we want the game to be.
To study of the Warhammer Online universe, or to study other MMOs?
Everything.
Okay.
Everything. So it's... Somebody's rattling the door. So it's studying the Warhammer Online universe, absolutely. It's studying Warhammer. It's studying what we want to do with Warhammer Online. Studying who we want to do it, identifying the right people, right team to put it together. It's things like what part of the market do we want to attack, who's our core audience, all of the marketing pieces. It's studying technology and figuring out how we want to leverage we have good technology internally at Mythic, and so it's studying how we want to leverage that technology. It's planning and starting design on the game, and putting together the plan, and then as we move forward through pre-production, it's pulling that plan together in a good, solid design so that everybody knows exactly what we're doing. We all know what the vision for the game is, and then near the end of pre-production, we start to do concept work with art, so that by the time we actually enter production, the design is in place, the concept for art is in place, and we can actually hit the ground running and start making the game. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah.
Pretty standard.
And what did you think if you remember your vision 3 years ago or 4 years ago, and now the game?
3 years ago.
3.
It's actually 2.5 years ago. So we started production. We went into pre-production mid 2006. What's yours? 6, 7, 8, mid 2005. So 2.5 years ago, and we didn't really begin production on the game until probably October, November of 2005. So, is your question, how does what we planned compare to where we're at right now?
Yeah.
It compares very, very favorably. We knew... you're making me think back now. The things that we planned as major pieces of the game have all come to fruition. The things that we wanted to do as major scope for the game, we're doing. We haven't really made any major changes. As you go through production, no matter what you're doing, whether it's producing the game or producing an expansion or even a small patch, you have the design concept and the vision for what you want to do. And then, as you get closer to it, you tweak it and you massage it a little bit, you change it, but it's generally small stuff if you're successful. And that's what it's been for us. Things like iterating and improving the career system, or public quests is a good example of something that, like, we didn't plan public quests from the very beginning. Those are something that evolved in the first year of the game as we were working through features and how we would do certain things. Public quests evolved out of some of the needs that we had in the game. Tome of Knowledge was the same way. We went into production, and about 6 months into production, we needed we wanted to do a quest log, and that Tome of Knowledge started from the seed of, well, we need a quest log. What should we do? Well, we could do a book. Oh, but you know what else we could do? We could do this and this and this. And boom, the Tome of Knowledge was born. So there's certain things that grew beyond pre-production, but not many things changed. Besides just kind of tightening things up and making sure that we're what we want. The biggest things that generally change are you kind of want everything, and you're like, this is what we're going to do with the game. And then as you start to go into production, you're like, except for that, because we don't have time to do that. And that, we don't have time to do that. Like, one of the things we always talked about in pre-production was we wanted mounted combat in the game. Like, it's like, wow, Warhammer want mounted combat. You get people on horses, it would be great. We're not going to do that. Like, that fell off our plate 2 years ago, a year and a half ago, whatever it was. So there are things that just kind of get cut, but the core features of our game are what they've always planned on being.
Okay.
What are you doing to prevent gold farming and gold sellers in terms of in-game mechanics and design?
It's too early for that question. What are we doing? So number one, let me address how we feel about gold farmers and gold sellers and that kind of stuff. I think hopefully everybody knows that Mythic in general has a very strong belief that type of gameplay, if you want to call it that, is detrimental to the game. It's bad for the game. It interferes with players who are playing the game to have fun, and causes problems for them. So a lot of times people will question our desire not to have gold farmers or item farmers in the game, and it truly does. Like, we've proven over and over again in Dark Age of Camelot that when you have players that are out there doing business online, that they interfere with the gameplay of everybody else, and it just causes problems. So that's the reason we're against that in general. What are we doing to prevent that? We have a lot of different systems in place as far as the economy goes to just make it hard to farm in general. Number one, our economy is set up where we have an earning economy more than a buying economy. Now, that's not to say that... So what I mean by that is the best items in the game, you need to earn them. You need to go out, you need to do public quests, you need to go and do RBR, you need to go and do the things that are going to earn those things for yourself. That's not to say that we don't have a great economy for buying and selling things, because we do, but they're generally not the greatest items in the game. They're lesser items, they're crafting material, they're trophies, or things like that. So dyes and equipment like that. So that's number one. Is to put it in Mark Jacobs' words, gold just doesn't mean quite as much in our game as in some other games. Not that it doesn't mean anything. So that's number one. Number two, gold is fairly abundant in our game. Now that's actually not a solution, because the economy will kind of balance itself out to accommodate for the amount of gold that you have. But gold is fairly abundant. We're not an economy that has scarcity of money. So we want people to feel wealthy in our game. What other things do we do in game? You catch me flat-footed this early in the morning on this question. Those are probably the biggest things that we do. Make it hard for people to be gold farmers. Other things are things like, how we do binding on equipment and just kind of that general stuff. Plus, as with Dark Age of Camelot, we're fairly active in monitoring external sites, tracking and chasing down gold vendors, gold sellers,